Opinions agree to disagree. Simple, right? Just these two rules. Yes, and then thank the organizers and sponsors. Really, they are putting like swimming, his camera. Just no thank the organizers, but also Mind Valley was Emmanuel. Thank Emmanuel later before you go back because of no. Yes, it's super easy for me to get the venue here for meetups because of him and everything for free. Um, right. So the format of our meetups usually is one buzz corner and two sharing sessions. Buzz corner is when we share about the latest buzzes around our group, basically. Right? Buzz here means something not necessarily new, but something that is going a buzz that you might find interesting. So it's like a recap of the latest happenings in the DevOps culture, DevOps landscape. After DevOps, then we will have Ash share about his sharing. And then our second speaker from Astro unfortunately could not make it. So we have other plans for that. So can I invite Wendy and Chiliong to carry on with the bus corner? You have mic?
Hi everyone, and welcome to the first timers. We're just gonna go through some of the things that people share on Engineers Mind in the past month.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Wendy.
Yeah, I'm Chilong. Okay, let's go to the next item.
Okay, so apparently McDonald's spent $300 million to buy a big data company. It's I forgot the name, but it's based in Tel Aviv. And what it does is, I think it nudges people, like when you add stuff on the shop cart, they kind of suggest to you other things to buy. So I don't know how McDonald's is going to make use of that. More Big Mac. Other people have bought Big Mac like this.
Okay. Right.
Hello.
Okay. How do I click it? Oops. I think I broke this.
I didn't touch it.
Okay. How do I? Okay. It works. I don't know why. Oops. Okay. How do I go down?
Animation.
Oh, okay. So if you're a Ruby guy, there's recently discovered that it's a very serious RCE backdoor in a Bootstrap says Ruby gem. So it's a very serious thing. If you are using Ruby, you are maintaining an existing Ruby code base. Please check check it out. And does everybody knows what? Yeah. Yeah.
So there is I don't know, it's already written there. What else do you need to know? Yeah. So no, what else do you need to know on this? So you need to make sure that you are upgraded because what
Hello.
happened was
Hello.
the gem, like apparently the
Hello.
hackers got the keys of one of the maintainers and uploaded a gem file and deprecated the old one. So if you have like an automated build system like a CI that does not vendor your gems and always bundles the latest installed gems, you might be like, because it's the latest gem version, right? So it would have been caught. And what happens, it creates a middleware in your Rails application. And if you have this particular cookie header, then it will execute uh, an eval on your code, and which gives the people some backdoor into your application. So it was caught like after a few hours, but there are a few downloads of that gem version that was compromised. So you'll have to like think about your CI process as well. Like what kinds of gems are you bundling?
Right. Thank you, Tristan.
I don't know if it's news, but I saw that there's some malicious code happening. Like if you do IE, if you use IE, well, it's not surprising.
There's
but-
actually a very big news about this as well. Matrix.org was breached as well, so have a look at it. Yep.
Oh, okay. Anyone using Chef here? Okay, couple of people. Okay, so Chef went from open core to open source now. Hey.
Anything you want to add?
I don't really use Chef,
Okay.
so I don't know. If any of you have thoughts, Chef users, is this going to impact you in any way? Are you going to contribute? No, I guess. Just
Right. So there's a Stack Overflow published result for the developer survey for 2019. So we have a 0.66% of monthly visits. And yep, as usual, Python is on the rise again, thanks to all those data thing that's available.
you Python code organizer.
I took it. What? I'm the only person. I'm the 0.66% here. Okay. Yep. These are the highest paid jobs. So and there are several of here hiring for this role as well. Yep. Yep. Yeah, highest paid. I assume. All right. So
Oh, can anyone guess why there was a productivity boost for what, 2 hours?
yeah, because they are down for more than 2 hours. Yeah, no surprise.
But, I don't know. I was using Slack.
Slack was had a bit of a hiccup early this week as well.
Oh, is
I
it?
think, yeah.
It's-
Not that I know of. Yeah. So Google Cloud next, and we have a local Google Cloud next party as well.
Party.
Okay, this Sunday.
I thought it's a Google Cloud extended.
Yeah.
Here.
Extended here. It's like
What is
I have no idea.
It's just like the next extended
You
here.
want to explain?
Thank you.
No, it's okay. So it's actually no. So it's actually hi guys. My name is Thiru. As Shazwan explained, I'm from Google Malaysia. I work for the Google Cloud team. Google. This next extended is actually part of Google developer groups. It's just a rehashing of what was announced at Cloud Next, and it has one track and a whole bunch of speakers. I believe where's Ashik? Ashik might be speaking. You are speaking. Oh, you are speaking. Okay, so Ashik is speaking. Now you are. So it's happening on the 28th of April on a Sunday at Epigate at Menara Axiata. So, sorry. Whatever. Doesn't matter. You all get it. So that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you want to watch the US one, they all have recorded sessions.
Yeah, the slide will be shared afterwards, so there are actually links to the resources, so you can check it out afterwards. And oh, this is from, I think this is related to Anthos as well. Partly this hybrid cloud.
Ash, I think you shared this, right?
Yeah, it's related to Anthos, which is things that they are bringing some of the cloud functionalities to your on-premise cloud solution. So it's actually a management system. It's a higher level dashboard that allow you to hook on your pre-existing deployment to the cloud services. So check them out. And also, if I remember correctly, they are introducing this services thing, like so you can something like your Chrome extension, like kind of like paid extension for enterprise and stuff, for apps and stuff. They are offering that as well. So if you are a SaaS provider, it's an opportunity for you. So actual Clark, What is it about?
This is an April Fool's joke. Like the cloud
Okay.
hosted on an actual cloud.
okay.
I don't know who bought that lah.
You want to explain it? Okay. Yeah, there's a resource site. Anybody here not on Kubernetes yet?
Not on.
Yeah, not on. Yeah, you don't count because I know that you tried. Yep. Yet, not on yet. Okay, there's a resource site to learn about Kubernetes. Also, there's a very nice project. I remember it's called K3X or something. It's a very lightweight installation for you to try it out on your machine.
But why?
So, yeah.
Why?
So you can,
Why try Kubernetes?
because it's awesome.
Okay.
Basically, it does all those provisioning, resource provisioning, and deployment. Make sure everything is up and tell you when certain things go wrong and stuff for you considerably automatically, assuming that you're already on container. So yeah, if you haven't started, you want to pick it up. Personal opinion, I actually advise you guys to try out container first. Get used to all the like all the quirks, all the weird stuff of container before moving to Kubernetes, because it's not as straightforward as you think.
Can I ask how many of you have never used container technology, container tech?
BSD jail and what call it, Ubuntu, what? Yeah, the LXD are not. Yeah, I consider container as well. Yeah. Yeah. So
So GitHub has this collection of DevOps tools. It's quite cool. Just if you follow the link there, then it will show you all of the repositories and the tools that you can use. And it's not just for DevOps. When you click into it, you can look for UX tools, data science tools. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah.
So all our slides will be on our Meetup page. I will share for the first timers. I will share via meetup.com the GitHub pages for every month Buzz Corner, so you can get the links from there.
Box server. I forgot what this is. It's a man in the middle one.
No, let's say you can build your API, you need to test your API. What you do? You use a mock server. What?
Okay.
So you don't have an API yet. You want the API, right? You need to test, right? You have specification, right? But you didn't build an app, right? So what you do, you use a mock server to mock it up. That's that.
What is mocking?
Mocking, it's not insulting. It's not insulting your code. It's to simulate the behavior of the system before you actually build it. That's the official definition. So you use this to simulate the thing so that your test team can be ready to actually test the system before you can go on without writing an application. So that's the whole reason for you to have it. This gut feeling tells me, I think this is more of, let's say you want to test here's a very cool use case. Your test team going to be prepared the whole set of test scenario using Postman, curl. I love curl. I'm old school. So, or whatever. So you need to test the API endpoint, right? You need to make sure it works, right? So you don't have app yet, so use a mock server to make sure that it's working first, the behavior expected. Then once you're ready, then you build your app, then they can test against your API endpoint. That's the whole point of having a mock server. So there's that.
I have an important question. Is it free?
I don't know. I just found it's cool. So.
It's called mock server.
It's literally called mock server.
It's a Java, yeah. I think we talked about that, but I forgot about the conversation. Yeah, I can return now. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. This is what it does. Yep. And yeah,
So JSON is referring to.
this is the mock server as well, right?
Yeah, it's perfops. It's a tool called perfops.com, which is supposed to be there. Yeah. Who shared this? Is the person here? Or anyone used perf ops before?
Manju, I don't think he's
Oh
here.
yeah.
Manju should attend because he share a lot of stuff. And we want him to explain what are those things first. Yeah. Hey Manju. I can intermediate Python, what's
You shared this. This is to no.
it's from me,
Oh.
right? Oh.
Yeah, this from you because you want to talk about that for.
It's actually I think it's something like a cookbook for tips and tricks for Python. Because I was a Python. I still use Python, but I came from the Python 2 era. So moving to 3, even though a lot of the stuff are similar, but underneath they work differently. So I found out about this website where they list down all the tips and tricks about certain things, how Python under Python 3, how that work, and it's pretty useful. Just check it out.
Yeah, so as you guys saw from the Stack Overflow survey, right? Python is the #1 most loved,
Yeah.
and it kept rising in ranks, even though it's not the first yet, but it's going there. So and then we have serverless tech also, like prioritizing Python language, and then we have ML and data science also with Python very popular, so it doesn't hurt to get to know more Python, and intermediate is intermediate.
If you're starting, my advice is start with Python 3.5 and above. Even though there are still a lot of stuff written in 2 point something, but ignore the resources. So and the problem with because there were some backward incompatible changes between from 2 to 3, and be careful especially when you first pick up Python, you might stumble upon some older resources. So be careful about. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
So
by the way, if you want to know, there's a Python conference coming up. The organizers are here.
Swimming.
And Shazwan also, right? So if you want to talk or you want to learn more about Python, check it out.
So that concludes the Buzz Corner for today.
Yay.
No. So how many of you learned something from the Buzz Corner? I'm gonna look for those who didn't put their hands up and ask why. Okay, so usually at this stage we have a short break and a job ad session. So if your company I'm doing that now. So if your company is hiring, or you want to advertise yourself, DevOps is the highest paying, you saw just now, and then say hire me, just come here and do it now. So yes, please. Mics can take turn.
Yep. Hi, my name is Arvin. I'm actually the SRE lead for Service Rocket. We are a US-based company currently located in Kuala Lumpur. We are actually segregated. We have an office in Chile, we have an office in Sydney, and also Palo Alto. Currently, we have 2 SREs, but we are looking to expand to about 5 in the next financial year. So we do cool stuff. We run a stack on Kubernetes. We're also trying to push ahead with chaos engineering. We're also trying to spearhead initiatives on distributed tracing, if you've heard of those. If you've never heard of those, you can come and talk to me. We're also doing observability, and we are trying to do or change the mindset of testing in production itself. So if you're a big fan of charity majors and Christian Foster, you can come and talk to me. So yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Hussein bin Zagapli. I represent my company, Meseritica. We are hiring machine learning engineer. It's not data scientist. We just want to optimize the TensorFlow model. We deploy TensorFlow model on Docker Swarm. Sorry, Kubernetes, we use Amazon. We got 100,000 credit. TensorFlow, Python, G Unicorn. So we want to serve, we do bahasa NLP for in Malaysia. We serve bernama news. So we do relevancy classification, sentiment, emotion, um, irony, and so much more for news or text-based. So we want to expand our engineer right now. Our company is very, we got funded. So we want to expand. We want to focus on how to serve the model, speed up the process. Okay.
That's it. Just two this time. Yes, Richard.
Hello everyone, my name's Richard. Moved to KL from Australia in January. Over there I work for a DevOps consultancy called Mechanical Rock. Started off doing DevOps and now do cloud migrations into serverless, so cloud re-platforming. Looking at expanding the business over here. So if you are a Google guru or an AWS superstar, we are looking for employee number 2 who likes to take on a little bit of risk and do a lot of cool stuff. So get in touch.
Hi guys, my name is Ben. Basically from the IT team from Binary Group Services. So Binary Group Services is basically a fintech company. We have multiple offices around the world. Our operations are based in Malaysia. We have one office in Malta, one office in Iran. We are starting up one office in Dubai, starting up another office in Paraguay. We are currently expanding and looking for many IT developers, front end, back end. We are currently short-handed in DevOps. As you all know, yeah, it's a bit hard to find DevOps, especially local talent in Malaysia right now. So we're continuously expanding. So if you have any interest or any of your friends who are looking for a career change, please just drop us an email, hr@binary.com. Our office is actually based in Cyberjaya. If you have any other further inquiries or what, you can actually visit our website and you can get most of the details there. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Pang from Experience. So Experience office is in Cyberjaya. So we've been doing continuity delivery for the past 5 years. So we have a lot of vacancies openings. So from the software engineers and to the DevOps engineer as well. So please reach out to me. We're doing a lot of interesting stuff, all the cloud native stuff. So you want to find out more, please talk to me. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Experience in Cyberjaya, right?
Yes, Cyberjaya. I need to emphasize this.
Yeah.
I know you want us.
Any more? Yes, all the way from Labuan.
Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Amirul Abu and I'm actually currently a process safety engineer, which is not related to tech at all. But I'm currently looking into opportunity to change career. Actually, I'm not clear whether I want to be a programmer or DevOps engineer. But what is under my belt now is I have learned Python and I've dabbled in Django and actually use Linux after office hours. So I've dabbled in that and also deployed my own Django application lah. Okay, so anyone want to hire me, or maybe I will meet you and I will give you my card lah. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.
So I feel he didn't do himself justice. So he's a graduate from UTP, so he's doing chemical engineering stuff with Petronas, I think, in Sabah. So he used his spare time to enroll in MIT courseware, doing this and that for about programming, and he knows a lot of stuff and willing to learn and do research on a lot of stuff. So if I'm a company, I would love to have people like him with me. Right. So if no more, right? We'll proceed without further ado to Ashrik.
Test. Hello. Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. Um, my talk tonight is relatively short. So hopefully that'll leave a little more time for questions, and then we can all go mama together after this as well. Okay, because there's no talk after this as well. So and the second thing I have to be absolutely upfront about as well is this is still a work in progress. So I haven't gotten the PR I haven't submitted the PR to like the GitHub repo yet for this extension. So, you know, it's not production ready. Don't try to use it in your companies and then come and find me when it breaks. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today basically is a simple problem that I had that ended up taking up way too much of my time because of Terraform. Okay, so quick show of hands. Who here has used Terraform before? Ooh, nice. Okay, great. So the next two slides I can basically breeze past, right? Because it's like an intro to Terraform. Or okay, I'll do it for the other people in the audience. So Terraform is basically infrastructure as code. For those of you guys who don't know what infrastructure as code means, basically, it takes it codifies your infrastructure there, the infrastructure as code. So you can basically write out a description file, and then that will actually generate your infrastructure for you. What I have here is basically a simple one that I wrote earlier today. I've replaced the secret keys, so don't try to use those. And what it's doing is basically, yeah, you know, security, right? What it's basically doing is it's setting up a very simple Lightsail instance on AWS. Okay, so that's the YAML file on the right on there. You can see I'm setting up a provider, and then the provider, there's a random provider. Random provider basically generates a random seed, and then we have a pet server name because I like my servers to have cute names like Honest Baboon. And then basically it's setting up Lightsail instance, setting up with the correct SSH keys, as well as setting up all the correct, like the correct type of box, basically. So Terraform takes that and transforms it into your infrastructure. Why would you use it? No more works on my server, but not on yours. This was supposed to be a joke on the guy after me because of Ansible is supposed to actually help you configure your server, but turns out he didn't turn up, so you know, yeah, that's fine. But the main thing is version infrastructure configuration. I think for me, the main benefit of it is you have a clear file that you can basically use to spin up your infrastructure in one go. And if you change anything, you don't have this issue with like, oh, engineer, you know, like Abu changed this thing and then now I don't know why my app is not running. Or, you know, we've scaled down the Elasticache instance and now suddenly everything is not working. So you can store your infra config with your app config, maybe in the same repo. I don't know. I do. You guys can or cannot. It's up to you. And the nice thing about it is that Terraform actually, I think no, actually not recently. In 2017, all the providers were actually pulled out of it. So now each of the public cloud providers actually have their own, like they maintain their own little providers that connect into Terraform. So GCP is Google Cloud's maintained by Google, AWS maintains theirs, and the activity on there is just insane. Like there are commits every single, I would say almost every few hours. So they're keeping it up to date very much so, and especially after like the AWS reInvent or after GCP, you'll see a flurry of commits as like new services come into the Terraform as well. So now comes the million-dollar question, right? Why would I need to extend Terraform? So here's why. I like Lightsail. Lightsail is really nice. I come from a digital, at Vaz, we started running our first services on DigitalOcean. So I'm very used to sort of like just spinning up a VPS and then like running apps on it and just, you know, running from the get-go. And EC2 and also for this note, Azure's like VM configuration stuff just confused the hell out of me. You know, you have to like set up just to get a server running, you have to set up, you know, a virtual network, you have to set up a VPC, you have to set up all these other things in order to make sure that it can even connect to the internet. So, but Lightsail is nice. AWS, I think, realized that and said, you know what, we have this group of people here who want something as simple as DigitalOcean. And so they made Lightsail, and it's technically cheaper than EC. It's definitely cheaper than EC2, technically cheaper than DO. I looked at the prices yesterday, and it turns out that DigitalOcean has actually brought their prices down for the higher sized boxes. But for the lower sized ones, they're actually still cheaper for equivalent CPU, but actually Lightsail gives you more RAM, if I'm correct. That's just an example I ran earlier today for a 32 gigabyte RAM, 8-core processor with 650 gigabyte SSD and 7 terabyte transfer. By the way, you can see down there, data transfer out. I just split the data transfer in half, so 3.5 terabytes in, 3.5 terabytes out. AWS charges you $419 for 3.5 terabytes out of data. So bandwidth is incredibly expensive. The great thing about Lightsail, 7 terabytes is included. So bandwidth is basically free. So any of you guys want to run a torrent box, Lightsail's perfect. But yeah, so this is inclusive of the free tier discount. Yeah, and that's $5 right there. So yeah, it basically blew past it straight away. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There is a free tier discount for the network egress. But yeah, so we're comparing here $857 per month to $160. It's a huge cost saving. Even running spot instances, Lightsail would actually be cheaper because you just multiply that by about 75. You basically multiply that by 25%, right? You get up to 75% savings from spot instances. Also, it's more user-friendly for engineers. So my engineering team is fairly junior, and they're also mainly used to VPSs as well. So it's actually easier for them to configure and spin up their own boxes as well. We're quite democratized in my engineering team. I basically give a bunch of credits to each engineer. They can do whatever they want on AWS. And so Lightsail is a great way for them to just spin up a box, play around with something, and then, spin it down at the end. And then finally, yeah, I've been meaning to run, as Chi Leong pointed out, been playing around with Kubernetes and haven't been able to really get it running. Haven't been able to really make the leap to running it in production. And I'm too cheap to pay for GKE because we don't have credits. EKS Fargate actually costs slightly more than the EC2 instances if you actually calculate them on a gigabyte RAM value. And we ran out of Azure credits before AKS launched in SEA. So yeah, I'm not even going to consider AKS. Yeah, so I was looking at Lightsail and I was like, oh, cool. Okay, I should actually try and run Kubernetes on Lightsail. That could be cool. And then I looked it up and it's like, oh, this was closed on February 22nd. It's got lifecycle rotten on it. So people basically, apparently you can't run Kubernetes on Lightsail because some shadow VPC thing. But I think, if I'm correct, if you run an overlay network over the Lightsail instances, you should still be able to run Kubernetes. So this didn't defeat me. I was like, okay, you know what? I've been meaning to play around with Terraform, and also I want to try deploying a production Kubernetes cluster. Let me try and do these two things at once by creating a Terraform template that deploys a Kubernetes cluster for me on Lightsail. And then I came across this. So this is an issue opened actually it's earlier than that. This issue was opened before that on the Terraform main repo, before the pulling out of all the providers. So apparently Terraform supports all the configuration capabilities on Lightsail except for port management. So you can't automate opening ports on Lightsail using Terraform. And I was like, okay, either I have to manually write a script to call the API, the AWS API, or maybe I could try and jump in and see if I could mess around with the code. So the first thing was, should it be a module or should it extend the provider, right? Because I actually jumped onto the engineers.my group, and I don't remember, what's his name? I don't remember the guy, but basically he said you should try making a Terraform module rather than extending the provider. Turns out that modules are actually more for the user side of things. So you're kind of trying to create pluggable parts of your infra. So that's what Terraform modules are for. So it seems like if you're trying to make stuff, if you're trying to basically edit the stuff that actually configures the provider, then extending the provider makes sense. And this was the goal. I want to be able to basically write this and have port rules from port to port, and have that configure the open ports. And I didn't even mind sort of basically saying, okay, you know what, I'm just going to like put all the ports that I ever want to configure into there, and then it will just replace all the current port configurations. So turns out that in order to, so I forked the AWS Terraform repo, and basically a bit of a tough thing for me because my Golang is really rusty. And jumping back into Terraform, I realized that Golang is like what Terraform is written in. So I had to learn to write it again. But schemas are basically the way to validate the rules like, so this thing that you see just now, this is basically to validate this before it actually deploys or commits. Yeah. So I'm up to, so this is a snapshot of the schema. I don't have a snapshot of the whole code because I couldn't screenshot just now. But basically I've gone up to create, read, and delete. And right now I'm in the middle of writing tests. So all this stuff is actually on I've forked it onto our GitHub, onto our company GitHub basically. So anyone who wants to come and criticize my Golang, please come and do that. And like open an issue. Challenges so far, Golang. Yeah, Golang is hard for me. So anyone here who's good at Golang, come contribute, or better still, come and write it with me. And yeah, also writing tests, and then hopefully I can get it submitted as a PR, and then I can move forward with my plan to like get Kubernetes running on via Terraform. Also, you can join us if you want to write Golang for me. Then I don't need to write it. Yeah. Any questions? Yes. That's very true. One of the things about Terraform is that one of the reasons why I chose Terraform versus going with CloudFormation directly is I feel like Terraform's configuration language is a little more portable in between clouds. So the idea here is like if I write CloudFormation templates and then later on I want to translate them into say like Cloud Deployment Manager, quote unquote templates. I don't know what they call them in GCP. Yeah. The languages are a little more different than if you just learn the Terraform kind of style of doing things. They are YAML, that's true. Mm. Mm.
Is because every time Terraform did a version update, it will break things. State will break, and also the resource names will also break. Well, I'm not sure after 1.0 how they were.
Sure.
We were using it before pre-1.0, so that's why we preferred the idea of being closer to home, whereby we just use whatever the couple.
Makes sense. I would say that makes a lot of sense if you're configuring. So how do you handle multi-cloud?
CloudFormation is.
Oh yeah.
For the live stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
So CloudFormation actually has this amazing feature recently released. It's called configuration drift, right? So let's just say someone makes a change in your infrastructure, and you don't know about it, and they don't do a pull request to reflect that change, right? And you try to deploy and you fail, right? So CloudFormation actually has this option whereby you can check whether the state is actually in sync, and then fix it in CloudFormation itself, which is pretty cool. Deployment Manager, I'm actually speaking to Tiru because I'm helping the Mind Valley guys do IAC. And I find that there's a bit of a little bit, I think, years behind. Deployment Manager is a bit years behind from CloudFormation. But the main reason why we moved away from Terraform is every time we try to do a change, things would break. Then we would have to manually go and do a manual hands-on the state, modify the state to reflect what the change is, which was a bit of a cumbersome. I spoke to the guys in Faith too, and they kind of resonate with this idea, and that's why they also use CloudFormation. Yeah, so that's.
No, again, that makes a lot of sense. I just wanted to ask, how would you handle multi-cloud? Say, if you want to handle IAC across, say, AWS and GCP.
That's a very good question. We don't have multi-cloud yet.
Okay.
We're gonna go down that route, so I think that's that's a question that we will come upon.
Mm.
But in saying that too, let's just say cloud providers. This is just a scenario that I have in my head. Let's just say cloud providers don't use Terraform anymore. They kind of shut it down, right?
Mm.
They won't usually they would like to have their homegrown products as a first class citizen. So let's just say deployment manager wants to have it as their first class, and AWS wants to have CloudFormation as their first class. What happens then to people who use Terraform? And how would they manage multi-cloud providers? There are pretty cool tools like Banzai Cloud. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. Their pipeline is pretty fantastic, but they don't expose what do you call state.
Sure.
Yeah, so it depends on what you want to use, I guess. Yeah,
So what I've actually looked at in terms of, I haven't looked too deeply into Terraform as well, but my understanding would be that it wouldn't be too hard to transform a Terraform YAML file into a CloudFormation YAML file. They're supersets.
Yep.
Terraform's technically a superset of CloudFormation.
Yeah.
Right? So if Terraform were to go away, and I don't necessarily see it going away anytime soon, given how given how the communities kind of coalesced around it, kind of the same way communities coalesce around Kubernetes, right? If it were to go away, it wouldn't be too hard, I would imagine, to just transform it into a CloudFormation template. Yeah. But a good question. Let's definitely connect after this, though.
Okay, sure.
Any other questions?
Nope. Yeah, how was your climb?
How was my climb? It was horrifying. So, sorry, Shazwan. So I climbed Mount Kinabalu 2 days ago. So